with McKinsey, and before that he was with KPMG, and also he was Joint Secretary, Ministry of Civil Aviation, and was acting Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University. He also holds a Bachelor of Technology in Mechanical Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and an MBA in Strategy and Operation from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. First of all, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Before I start the question, I want to lighter note. I want to say your portfolio or your CV looks like if you look at Hollywood movie, किसी हीरो की जब एंट्री करते हैं लाइफ बहुत परफेक्ट लगती है. See, I know that you had your own challenges in life. You had your ups and downs. You had taken a lot of risk and bets, which every human takes. But if you look at very well, when any MBA person, I mean, I'm sitting at in a B school, so obviously the students were looking at it. आपका CV exactly is what they dream of. मतलब, if I look at it, you were in consulting and you became partner. Then you were senior advisory role in McKinsey, something which people dream of. Then you're in ministry, joint secretary, civil aviation, and I know. I mean, it was a recent time we have seen a lot of activities of yours. I mean, a lot of contribution you have done. And apart from that, then you were acting vice chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi Technical University. I mean, top of the ladder of all the fields in that area, if you look at it. So obviously, this looks like a perfect CV, but I want you to at least give us a share of idea exactly how this all started. I mean, from your graduation to your post graduation, and what are the choices? Because today, if you look back, I think you will have much more idea now exactly that why those risks you took or what those aspects you have taken those times. Because those are the things which are missing in a CV. I mean, that's where people don't see it. It looks like a straightforward road. So if you can go through it, that would be nice for us, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Akhil. First of all, thank you for organizing this. For us also, it's a working day today. But in Adani's, we work half days on Saturdays. It's just been a series of calls since the morning. I'm also unwell because I was in Hyderabad 2 days back. Yesterday, we had a whole day at the Mangalore airport with a lot of construction work is happening to for the terminal expansion, and there's a lot of on one side of the hill. It's a hilltop airport, so a lot of dust and grime, and we are reinforcing the slope of the hill so that sometimes they have very heavy rains and there's a lot of subsidence which happens. So it was a very tough day, demanding day yesterday. But so I'm a little down with mild fever and some little sore throat. So apologies for that. But I still wanted to just go ahead and have this chat because how many people have joined? 50, 100? How many people have joined?
So currently, if I look at it, we have around 500 plus views going on. So I think the
Wow.
batch are already joined.
That's scary. Eh?
Uh,
500 people is too
prospective,
many.
prospective students are yet joining in. So if you ask me after 45 minutes, that will be a much better count for me to say.
But
That's
after
what.
45 minutes, they'll miss all the nice conversations. So. But 500 is like scary. So please excuse me if I make some silly remarks or something. I like to talk in an informal way.
Yes, yes.
First of all, thank you so much for organizing this. So I was a little unwell, but I thought we should just go ahead because so many people had already planned this in their calendar. Now you're very kind in that in description of my CV. See, CV spread over God knows how many over 30, 40 years. I'm 57 now. So that's spread over almost 40 years. And I'm telling you, never look at a person's CV and judge the person because the CV doesn't tell you the full story. As you rightly said, there are lots of setbacks and disappointments and humiliation as part of the journey. And I tell most people, even our colleagues in the airports, those workers, the cleaners, the toilet cleaners, the construction workers, welders, carpenters, we have, I mean, the whole army of people working at all the expansion. We have about 8 airports, and all 8 airports are undergoing capacity expansion because of the sheer growth in the sector, and also because there were some deficiencies. That's why they were handed over to the private sector. So at all these places, I tell our teams that, see, I myself am a product of my failures, not of my success. Because see, it is the failures. Every time you get a kick in your backside, it forces you to think, do some self-conversation. They say the best conversation is self-conversation. You talk to yourself and you do introspection. You change track. You change some of the behavioral patterns that you have. Okay, some mannerisms, some whims and fancies. Okay, some opinions, some very. I mean, and growing up, we all have very strong opinions. With time, you learn that sometimes your opinions may not be the best opinion. And we'll talk later because I don't want to sound like a sadhu baba giving some big speech on spirituality and stuff. But I'm a very practical guy, and all along I started from a shop floor career in a steel mill, and then in Chhattisgarh. Right after IIT, many of my classmates decided to go abroad. My father was very keen that I stay back and also go to some factory. I mean, a dirty, noisy, the dusty factory, and real see real engineering, because in IITs we learn a lot, but many times that information knowledge is more suited for going to US and doing your MS and PhD. And practical में थोड़ा सा कम होता है. So and I'm not trying to take anything away from the IIT education. We learned a lot. Of course, the laboratories, I used to enjoy the laboratories where you do physical work and shaping and turning and drilling and boring machines, etc., etc. So that's what took me to steel plant in dusty Chhattisgarh. One of the best lessons I learned was on those 5 years, where I was actually working with lots of people from tribal backgrounds and local backgrounds. Many of them were not even class fifth pass, but they were expert welders, expert steel makers, expert crane operators. And there's so much I learned about real engineering and real man management. They were unionized also, so we learned a lot of how to handle union issues. A lot of learning in those 5 years. Then I went for my MBA to Ahmedabad. Again, 2 years of extreme struggle, extreme humiliation, because you're meeting some of the finest brains in the country. Chetan Bhagat, incidentally, was my batchmate. So not just batchmate, section mate, and also you're part of the same marketing group of 5 people. So he and his to-be wife, Anusha, we were all part of it. So that two states, if somebody's seen the movie, a lot of the scenes were actually real scenes, which we actually witnessed in our batch. So that happened, and after that came into I just did a couple of consulting firms. Longest stint was, of course, KPMG, about 17 years. I've always been had my love for infrastructure, and within infrastructure, transportation, and within transportation, aviation. Aviation somehow, I mean, all of us have our favorites, like a favorite star or a cricket star or a movie star, and also a sector. So aviation has always been exciting. I always wanted to be an aerospace engineer, but life always has his own, God has his own ways. So after consulting, we set up the infra practice within KPM, just specialized infra. Then within that, we set up an aviation practice, aviation and defense, because early 2000s, this sector, we could foresee that this sector is going to boom. Maybe today it's not, doesn't have the right policy support and stuff, but over a period of time, I think our aviation and aerospace and defense sector grew like nobody's business. And so all the investments we made actually, so I started with a team of two. You don't need a large team to start. Yeah, whenever you start a new process, obviously I mean, these are costly resources. A consultant is a costly resource. So started with just about two people, and then finally when I left and joined the government, we had grown to a team of almost 39 people, so that, which is fairly big. And then 3 years in the government. See, I don't want to make a monologue, because people get sleepy. This is Saturday morning, people have had partied late last night, and so they'll get bored. So just block keep interjecting, otherwise it becomes a long boring speech. I'll get bored, you will get bored, young students will get bored.
But
Okay.
since you are
So,
talking about a fancy for them, so I mean, they're not getting bored lately yet.
right. Okay. So just keep interjecting with short questions, Arnab Goswami type. Nishan wants to know and all that. So and then luck again. As I said, I'm a product of failures, and along in those 17 years in KPMG, also it wasn't that I was some superstar with a rock star performance every year. Every 2 years, I'm getting promoted. All my batchmates are left behind. No, in fact, as infrastructure is still coming up. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he put a lot of focus in that 99 to 2004. I don't want to go too back in history, because many of the kids may not have even been born at that time, right? I think I'm presuming most of his students must be in that early 20s. So
Yes.
not too much of history, but let's just say at 04, when Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee came, he suddenly put a lot of emphasis on transportation network, and he used to say that this is like the backbone of the industry. Logistics cost is very high, so roads, ports, airports, everything, widening of the highways, which Mr. Gadkari then took it forward. Then came the Congress government, and they did a lot of reforms on the airport side because Commonwealth was happening in 2010. So they realized that the amount of investments and amount of technology which has to be brought in, maybe the government sector will be a little constrained. So that's where the PPP came. So first Bangalore and Hyderabad got privatized, and then Delhi and Mumbai, they brought in a PPP. So this is not privatization like Air India. It's basically PPP because the land still is a national asset. These Delhi, Mumbai, these are all national assets, and they've been leased to the operator, current operator, say Adani's in Mumbai and GMR in Delhi. It's been leased to them for a period of 30 plus 30, 60 years. Okay, with a checkpoint at the 30-year mark. So that's how the airport reforms happened, and then the airline reforms happened, and now Air India is now sold off. Okay, to the Tatas. It was acquired from the Tatas, and then for whatever reasons it didn't do so well, and losses have gone to, when I was in the ministry, losses have gone up to as much as 22 crores per day, and that's taxpayers' money, right? So 22 crores means morning ka night ho gaya, 22 crores gone. And this is taxpayers' money. So even the Prime Minister used to ask, Mr. Modi used to ask, I mean, uh, how many schools and toilets and roads in rural areas and drinking water we can supply with 22 crores per day? Why should we even be running an airline? I mean, there are other smarter people who can run an airline rather than government employees. So that again, I don't want to talk too much of politics or something, but this is more policy related stuff. So as a policy, then they decided we will not be running airlines. So okay, so going back to the KPMG 17 years, and then again, stroke of luck, and we'll talk about the luck factor also, and God's plan and act of God, etc. So in 2019, the government came up with this ad saying, we would love to have. We've been hearing rumors about that the government is keen to get lateral entrance into the policy making level because somewhere it was felt that now each sector, especially these technical sectors, commercial sectors like telecom and civil aviation and roads, ports, these are all technical sectors. And banking, finance, and here we should. There's a whole wealth of talent outside the government on the private sector, and why should we let go of that? I mean, of course, the private sector people will continue working in private sector, but why can't we choose some of them to come into the government and follow the rules, obviously, and take a 90% salary cut also to match government salaries and contribute to nation building. So that's how the ad came. I applied. There were some 700 people who qualified for that aviation thing. Finally, that 700 was brought down to 20 and 20. Say, then they had the interviews, detailed interviews, and the one person was chosen. I was just lucky to be that one person. And 3 years in the government was an absolute wonderful experience. Of course, lots of challenges also, which you can imagine as an outsider, as a junior bahu in a large household, okay, with Sasurji and some elder bhabis and all that. So I was the youngest bahu. We had come from a very different kind of a household. So there were some challenges as usual, but then what's life without a few challenges? But overall, the experience was absolutely, I would say, 9 on 10. And given a choice, I think all of our young students, some of them maybe looking at life in the bureaucracy. You should not call them bureaucracy; these are public servants in the government. Maybe some of them might become politicians, which is great. We need good politicians because at the top of the power structure is the politician. Then comes the bureaucrats. Then come the police, and then comes the industrialists, and then come professionals like us, the BTech MBAs. The bottom end of that hierarchy of power. But each one is important, right? So 3 years there, I had a great time. We could bring in a lot of reforms in certain areas that about some 9 areas that I was looking at. And then came out and then joined McKinsey. Whereas, I mean, a senior advisor is just a nice way because they didn't want me to come in as I was fairly senior, right? So they didn't want me to come in as partner and go through the usual. There are lots of technicalities around partner position. So I was working full time, but with multiple teams and on proposals and actual project delivery with very very young people, roughly the same age as we have the audience on this call. Sharp people. It was absolute wonderful experience. And then about 2 months back, I got an offer, I mean, a call from Adani's, and they said, would you like to take up this role? And we just had a chat with the chairman and some of the senior people, and here I am. So, just to summarize, it's not that I planned my career. So, anybody who tells you, I should have a clear vision and clear, I mean, I'm telling you, that's all bullshit. Yeah, pardon my French, but it's all bullshit. Don't plan anything. Life, God has His own plan, and the beauty is we don't know that plan. All we should do is to just pick up something which you're passionate about. Like I was passionate about aviation and defense, and just stuck to it. And there were good days, there were bad days, and because when we started in aviation early 2000s, there was not much business. It's not that I got double promotion, or in fact, many of my batchmates got promoted, and I wouldn't get promoted. But when the good times come, and God, this is like Kal Chakram, as we call it, Kal Chakra mein samay hu, samay ka pahya ghumta rehta, and all that. So that's Kal Chakra. Whatever is up will come down, what is down will come up. So and then suddenly, if you stay honest to your profession and your passion, and you put in the hard work and with honesty and humbleness, and we'll talk about the 4H concept also, because I think this monologue has gone on for too long. But it's You just keep doing your thing, okay? And when the good days happen, you get compensated for all the money or promotion or increments or fat bonuses that you might have missed out and others got it. And sometimes you feel dejected and jealous that I'm working so hard but somebody else gets the benefit. And at a young age, when I was of the same age as your students, I mean, in the early 20s and early 30s, I mean, these things, you're very materialistic at that time, because I come from a very humble background. Father was in railways, so I mean, salary wasn't great. We had a good time, but it's not that we had a lot of cream on top of our cake. And he was an honest man, worked very hard. So we got all the right integrity and value system from our grandparents and our parents. And we grew up. I grew up all over the place. I mean, he was posted in Gujarat when I was born in Gujarat. Then we moved to Mumbai. From Mumbai, moved to Lucknow. So etc. etc. So multiple houses, multiple changes of schools, and so that's how. I mean, we also learned integration with different cultures, and that has helped me a lot. So all those people who have their parents in government service or military service have that little advantage, that they move around the country a lot, and you absorb the best of everyone, and you learn from every culture. And that's great, because we're a giant country with diversity. So anyway, all I'm saying is that God has a plan for all of us. Everybody's of the 500 or 1,000 people who are on the call. Please just know that there is a plan for you. Just as in a none of us have common biometrics, right? Common biometrics or iris scan or a signature or even a voice imprint. God has made us all different. Okay, imagine the diversity. None of us have the same fingerprint. Otherwise, our whole Digi Yatra will fail tomorrow. So you are unique. There is a plan for you. Just pick up something which brings you alive. Like I was unwell when I was in Hyderabad 2 days back. There was a suggestion that I should just go back to Ahmedabad and skip the Mangalore airport visit, because it was a very physical visit. The airport visits are very physical, almost for 10 to 12 hours. You're just walking, walking, walking. And you go into the basements where the baggage systems and the X ray machines, all the X raying happens. You go to the top of the ATC tower for your own survey and interaction with the ATC, the air traffic control people, and then the project sites. And then you go down the hill where the actual construction and all the piling work is happening to strengthen the slope of the hill to make it even more stronger, and because they have lots of rains, etc. So it's a very physical visit. But I'm telling you, once I was out there, I had 99 or 100 fever. I didn't even measure. I just put some Dolo and uh, ate some bananas and took some medicine. And I'm telling you, whole day I was there. Finally, at 1 a.m., I reached home here in Delhi. But I felt so alive because I was out there in the hot sun. Because in the open airport, there's no roof, because you can't have a roof or any structure at the airport next to the runway and the taxiways. We go from one end to the other end, do the whole perimeter check. So I just felt so alive. And then we have a lot of interactions with multiple people, you know, CISF, your customs people, immigration, all the airlines people. Then we have some little rewards function for all our class 3 and class 4 staff also, who are so critical, you know, the cleaners, the toilet cleaners, and the facility managers, the administrators, the security guards. I mean, there's a whole army of people at an airport. And I just felt better. I mean, I forgot all my fever in that whole thing. So I'm not trying to just pat my back and say how great a person I am. All I'm saying is pick up something that excites you, which you feel passionate about, and just go after it. And God will find a way for you anyways. I didn't plan the lateral entry. I didn't plan 17 years in KPMG. I didn't plan McKinsey. I didn't plan Adani airports. These things just happen. You just do your thing, and you'll get the right call, because the whole world is observing you, right? I mean, you may feel nobody knows us or nobody cares about us, but the whole world is watching. And now I'll just close with those that 4H principle, and then I'll take more questions, because I think, as I said, it's been too long a monologue. Uh, uh, and this again, this is something which you keep hearing. You know, people send you forwards. WhatsApp is great, 90% is garbage, but 10% of social media is actually good. Okay, so somebody sent me a forward. There's a concept called the 4H concept. Yeah. One is honesty and hard work. Honesty, hard work, which I've anyway spoken about. There's no substitute to that. And at a young age, many times people will tell you, "Oh, this guy's connected. Oh, this guy's father or uncle is an MLA, or oh, this guy's mother is a director in this company or that company. Oh, that's why. Or this guy just does a lot of muska polish with the boss or with Professor Akhil Damodaran, and that's why he gets good marks and all that." So you'll hear all kinds of things. These are basically ways to justify our own failures, right? So. And I've also done that. Every time I get bypassed or humiliated or insulted or have a career setback, I would always blame other than me. Okay. Oh, I'm just a guy, a simple guy from a small town with no connections. My uncle or is not an MLA, or my auntie is not a CMD or CEO of some company who'll get me a good internship or something. So we've all gone through that. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But idea is how quickly you can come out of that. So honesty, critical. I mean, I've been in businesses, I've been in government, I've been in senior positions. I'm right now, literally every second day, I'm clearing bills worth crores, and sometimes it goes into even hundreds of crores. Because building airports is not a small thing. So even a small equipment or a small baggage handling system or a similar simple lift systems, I mean, they go into dozens and dozens of crores. So honesty is very critical, and sooner or later the world finds you out. Okay, you can fool, and we also catch a lot of people. Since the morning, my phone is buzzing because I also the national head of security at the Adani airports, national head of safety, they all report to me. वो मॉर्निंग से हमारा शुरू हो जाता है, आज बॉम्बे में गांजा पकड़ा, आज इधर सोना पकड़ा, वो अहमदाबाद में वो ड्रग्स पकड़े. So every morning it's like from morning it starts, all the messages keep coming. So sooner or later you get found out. So honesty very important, hard work very important, connections, and my uncle is this and my father was that, helps up to a point but not beyond a point. Third thing is humbleness. You got to be very humble. Okay, especially when gods give you success. Okay, especially in moments of victory. Please be humble. Okay, because everybody is watching. For every guy who became the captain, there are four other guys who wanted to become the captain or the manager or the partner. Okay, it's not that everybody can become a partner. So once you become a partner, just as in my case, my batchmates or even my juniors sometimes became partners before me. And it's very easy to go into a depression. Easy to go into, oh, this guy doesn't like me, or the CEO somehow doesn't like me. You can go into that negative. So it's your choice. You can be absolutely negative and absolutely positive. It depends on where you want to be on that scale. So try to be positive, and when success comes to you, be humble. And when defeat and humiliation or setbacks come to you, be resolute. I mean, just say this is God's plan. This is God's plan. He wants, as I keep saying repeatedly, I'm a product of my failures, not of my success. Failures led to my success. Because of the failures, I started thinking, changing strategic direction or tactical or operational behavior, personal behavior, attitude towards life, attitude towards people. I changed myself. I was forced to change because of my failures. And that led to some of these successes that Akhil spoke about, right? So third is humbleness. And the fourth and the most important is happiness. Please be happy. We didn't come to this world to become CEO of this company, or a director here, or a president here, or a prime minister of this country. We didn't come for these positions. And I mean, they all look very fancy, and these titles look very fancy. If you see my CV on LinkedIn, it look appear very fancy. Okay. Like Akhil was also mentioning earlier. But end of the day, does it lead to happiness? That's a question mark. Okay, I could have 1,000 crores in my bank, and today, as a youngster at age 21 or 22, you may think, ah, yeah, of course, 1,000 crore. Thank you so much. Please send into my, I'll give you my bank account. But there are people who have not 1,000 crores, but maybe 100,000 crores, yeah, and still they're taking sleeping pills to sleep. Yeah. This is not mentioned in the public domain, right? So it's not that success always leads to happiness. Your ultimate aim in life is to be happy. Even animals, I mean, they just fool around, and you see animal videos on Discovery or National Geographic, and they're having fun. They're running. I mean, they're not as brain as evolved as human beings. The animals have more fun than humans. We take ourselves so seriously, and we judge ourselves. So one very important thing is to be hard on yourself, but don't be harsh. Okay, my simple request, and I see my own kids. You guys are at least nice enough. You're listening to my own kids. Don't listen to me. Okay, they think they're all catch whiskers, and dad is always giving gyan faltu ka. Nobody likes gyan. And as they say, kids also they don't listen to you. They observe you. Okay, so whosoever is a youngster today will become a leader tomorrow, right? Whosoever is 21 today will become 42 tomorrow. So don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take your successes too seriously. Don't take your failures too seriously. And as somebody sent me some Sadhguru video, which I found very hard hitting. Well, he said something like in biology, we would have all read, like how much water content do we have in our body? 70%. So whatever you're seeing, Amber Dubey or Akhil on your screen, we are 70% water, simple plain water, right? We are 70% water. What is remaining 30%? Is of soil. What is this? This is all soil. Right, we say calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium. What is potassium, sodium, iron, calcium? All comes from the soil. I ate a cauliflower, I'll become cauliflower today. I ate potato in the dinner, I became a potato. As simple as that. What am I? Whatever I eat has water and soil. It comes from the soil. And where will we all go? Ultimately, we'll go back to the soil and water. Or Panchtatma Vilino, depending on which religion you follow, you'll either go into the soil or you'll get burnt and your water will evaporate and the soil will again go back to, you'll throw it into the Ganges or whatever, into the back into the water and soil. So we are nothing but water and soil. The only difference that makes within us is the soul. Soul is Amar Rajar, whatever you call it, is immortal. Soul, Atma, Paramatma ka milan and all that. Once we all have an expiry date, just like a medicine or any product. We also have an expiry date. Good thing is we don't know our expiry date. So just have fun. Treat each day as the best day of your life. Today is the best day of my life, and I'm going to have fun. And so what if there are some setbacks or whatever? My dreams didn't come true today. It's okay. Part of life. Today is the best day of my life. When you sleep, just thank God for a great day, and say tomorrow will be better. Today was the best day of my life. Tomorrow will be better. It's as simple as that. So don't take yourself too seriously. Follow that simple 4H formula of hard work, honesty, humbleness, and happiness. And the most important part is the last part, which is happiness. Say, my happiness is my private property. वो लिखते हैं ना, private property, do not trespass. Trespass is not allowed. Trespassers will be shot. Or beware of dog. Beware of dogs. So that's the right attitude to have in your grades, in your tests, in your internship, in your abhi placement hoga. People will go mad. People will go crazy. My daughter herself is in Wharton, and I was seeing what stress she was going during her internship. She ultimately made it to a good bank in the US, and she's in Wharton, so obviously life is a little easy. But I could see the stress, and I was just laughing at her, and she was crying. She's saying, "You're laughing at me," and I was laughing at her. I was thinking, today nobody even asks me where I did my internship. Oh no, you don't understand. It's so tough in water. No, there's so. We are all brown people and we are all outsiders, and you don't understand the stress. I said, yes, I understand, but I think you're taking yourself too seriously. So even my kids don't listen to me. So it's all okay. So take life easy. It's a wonderful world with all its problems. Even if you're in American, you can see what kind of issues they're having, or Europe, they have their own challenges. Japan has its own challenges. So sitting here in India, sometimes we feel global people are so good and other countries so good, and we should all migrate. And India sucks, and this sucks, and that sucks, and traffic sucks, and the muck on the street sucks. But point is, who created that? It's you and me. We created that muck. It's not that Narendra Modi came and threw muck on the streets. Yeah. We threw it, right? If there's congestion, we created the congestion. I stay in, my family's in Delhi, I'm in Ahmedabad. But when you say pollution, Delhi is a gas chamber. My kids' lungs are all gone black with that dirty air. But who created the dirty air? I created the dirty air. Every time I take out my petrol or diesel car, I've now switched to electric, but every time I take out my petrol or diesel car, I'm also contributing to that dirty thing. So, uh, end of the day, take it easy. God has a plan for you. Don't work hard, be hard on yourself, don't be harsh on yourself, and have fun. It's a beautiful world, a beautiful life. You're special, and God has a plan for you. And the last part about this, God has a plan for you. Many times they are, क्या plan है? सारा plan तो संदीप के पास है, या वो देखो, या फिर रुचिका gets the bloody all the attention and all the, and I'm bloody nobody looks at me. I'm just conjuring these two names here, just like that. So the beauty about the God's plan is we don't know the plan. Because if somebody hacks into God's server and tells me, Amber, this is your plan, and God has said that 6 months from now, Amber will get 100 crores bonus, or you don't get 100 crore bonus, but suppose there is a plan like that, or a lottery. You'll buy a 10 rupee ticket and you'll win a 100 crore lottery. in 6 months' time. But after 3 years, you'll have a very bad car crash and both your legs will get amputated. What will be my mental state if I get to know God's plan? Will I enjoy that 100 crores which I'll win in the next 2 weeks or 2 months? No, because all my brain will be all working around that big accident which is going to happen 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line, where either I'll have cancer or some lung problem or a kidney issue or a car crash where I'm going to lose both my legs. So its beauty is that we don't know that plan. So that's why I'm saying just take one day at a time. ज्यादा दिमाग का दही नहीं करने का, मस्त रहने का, रगड़ के मेहनत करो, be honest, be humble, and be happy. I think, Akhil, if I don't stop now, people will start vomiting because there's a limit to which people can take gyan. People have
But,
steam coming out of the ears.
so
Over to you.
before I go with second question, I have a sub question of the first question which come from the story. I think just a bit if you can give answer that will be better. You very humbly said that a lot of luck and a lot of failures is what made you successful, and for I think for many for that matter. But I have something else to say. Uh, as a consultant, because I think your majority of your experience, if I look at it, it's majored in the consulting domain. 17 years, which you said in KPMG, plus 2 to 3 years in McKinsey, if you look at it. Uh, because I'm telling you frankly, when I was doing my MBA, you were at your prime. I mean, in the consulting domain. I mean, aviation was skyrocketing in 2012, 13, 14, and KPMG Aerospace division was like booming, I would say, and you're there everywhere in the news at that time. Matlab, your views and everything which is coming up. After you, I think, left because most of my colleagues and my juniors also joined KPMG and even other consulting firms for that matter. You're one of the few partners people know even when you left that there was somebody called Amber Dubey.
Yeah, that's good.
नहीं, मतलब
छोड़ो यार. What is the question? वो बताओ ना. You're
मेरा
embarrassing
क्वेश्चन
me
ये
now.
है क्वेश्चन ये है व्हाट इज योर कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी मतलब मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है एज अ
I love it when
कंसल्टेंट
people admire me, appreciate me. I mean,
नो
I'll
तो
be dishonest if I say who doesn't like praise. Okay, but I mean, on a call with 500 kids, I mean, how many kids are now? I mean, have somebody would have woken up now? How many kids are now on the
so
call?
मतलब I'm saying you see like you are now CEO, right? So you're talking about operations. I really admire that you're into operations, right? So in consulting, I mean everybody has their own I mean core competency. It's not everything has in one person. So what in your 17 experience, what was your matlab, major core competency? Is it yeah.
See, actually, Akhil, that's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't have a smart answer. Okay, I don't know what my core competence. I think that is something which only my clients, my team, CFT as we call it, clients, family, and team. These are the three people, three entities we work very closely with: our clients, our family, and our teams. Right? Only they'll be able to tell you, and each if you ask them, they'll give you different answers. I would say my core competency again goes back to that boring 4H. I'm a big fan of boring consistency. The 4H. All I did was just hard work. Whatever projects you take up, and we struggled a lot because earlier aviation was only one Air India and one airport authority and some private airlines which are all loss making. Right? None of them wanted consultants. And the ministry anyway doesn't use many consultants. They route it through one of the PSUs. So we struggled a lot, and then one by one things started working. Did a little tiny project here and a tiny project there. Put our heart and soul into it. For a tiny 10 lakhs or a 50 lakhs or a 1 crore project, we put in hard work worth maybe 5 times of that. And then that led to more. Then suddenly we started getting calls from the ministry itself, or from airport authority, or from Air India itself, or for some of the private airlines which came up later. And from the regulators, then there was the ERA regulator which sets the airport tariffs. And then from these private companies which were bidding for this project. So one by one, it lined up. And for every project we won, there were 5 other projects which we also lost because somebody in the market would come and undercut us because they thought, okay, maybe these guys have more credentials. If they're charging 100, we'll charge 90 and take it. So sometimes in government tenders, that happens a lot. So if Akhil and Amber are competing, I quote 100 and you quote 99. They will give you. Or maybe you might be far better than me, okay, but you quote 100 and I quote 99, I will win the contract. because they say, okay, basic parameters are met and basic qualifications are done. So in government sector, and we started all with government sector because mostly consulting in aviation was limited to government sector. Because government was running the biggest airports and the biggest airlines, right? So core competency, I would say, was just hard work. Just sorry, I just feel I'm just repeating myself. Just pick up something which you like, and the word comes around to help you. I'm telling you, जो that शाहरुख खान है कक किरण वाला जो कि वो पूरी कायनात जब आपको ठान लो तो पूरी कायनात आपको आके हेल्प करती है. I can I have 57 years. I mean, I'm 57, so I have 57 years of statistics, right? It actually works. Shahrukh Khan, with all due respect, was absolutely right. He, I would say your core competency should always be your passion, whatever you eh, choose something which excites you, and whatever the thing excites you, even if it doesn't have market demand. Of course, if you get into mining and mining does not have a growth trajectory, obviously you'll not do that well, right? You will still do mining. I'm not saying anything against mining, but any sector, anything which excites you. Suppose you say ports and shipping, so you pick up something which excites you. So finance, I want to do merchant banking, investment banking is all very jazzy and sexy, right? So I want to do that, but you have to be passionate about it. It can't just be glamour chasing, right? So I'm more on the hardcore. So yesterday when I was at Mangalore airport, all my lower part of my trousers and my shoes were all soaked in mud, right? And we are all sweating because it was all hot sun. Mangalore also is very humid, is right next to the sea, salty air and very humid. And from 8 to 10 hours, we were out there in the hot sun. There's no roof at the airport, right? In the air side, where the runways and taxiways and the tower and the all the hillside construction which you're doing and expanding the width of the runway, etc., the taxiways. So core competency can only be your hard work, honesty, hard work, passion, your humbleness, and happiness. Sorry for being repetitive.
Oh, thank you so much. No, no problem, no problem. So let me go to the second question, which is very, very crucial part here. So we have infrastructure development students here and specializing in aviation for that matter. What do you look at in the future now? Because after COVID, I mean, there are a lot of complexities in the environment. I mean, in terms of AI, technology, and airport is something which is I think much faster in adopting these technologies comparatively to any other sectors if you look at it. And now you have foreign players also coming in. If you look at Jewel Airport here in Noida. So I mean, what is your perspective? Next 10 years, how it's going to, or next 5 6 years, how it's going to be? 10 years is too long.
Oh, I would say, I mean, you hit my raw chord. I would say anybody in your team who's interested in infrastructure, I mean, you're lucky guys. Yeah, I wish we had the same environment 20, 30 years back. Yeah, so those were the early days in its infancy, and so we were an infrastructure starved country, right? Even today, when you say congestion, Bangalore में इधर से उधर, वो बगल वाले बिल्डिंग में जाने में आपको ये आधा घंटा लग जाता है. Delhi sucks, Mumbai traffic sucks. It is all because of poor planning, poor infrastructure was never a focus area. Okay, it's only in the last 25, 30 years that infrastructure has started gaining attention ever since Mr. Vajpayee came up with that golden quadrilateral and Sagarmala and Bharatmala and railway expansion. So that's when we, the infra guys and the transport guys, because for me, infra is God. That's the pillar of the economy. Without infrastructure, can you imagine a US or a Europe or even these DDS as we call them, Dubai, Doha, Singapore in aviation, Dubai, Doha, Singapore. Can Dubai, Doha, Singapore exist without their airports or their fancy highways and the road network and the metro network and the train network? And once you set this infrastructure, this is the basic structure. Then once you do the structure, so you have tourism, hotels, schools, hospitals, housing societies, those 50-story real estate development and bankers and telecommunication, all that happens automatically. The core is the infrastructure, because unless you have great roads and ports and airports, okay, and rapid metro systems, how can you create the US or a European economy, or say the developed countries or the first world countries, or in Australia or a Singapore or a Dubai? So those who in your among your students who are more keen on infra, this is the best time to enter infrastructure. You pick up whatever excites you: railways, ports, airports, shipping, whatever, and just read, learn, be humble students. Have in consulting, we were taught a lot about this one word called IDK. I don't know. We should make it a religion. है ना, जैसे वो नाम जप बोलते हैं ना, you keep japping some Ram Naam or Jai Sita Ram or whatever. So Just keep saying IDK. I don't know. Have no shame in consulting. You're taught. Have no shame in saying IDK, because we would even jump from clients to clients, and it's not that. And many times you would be attacked or humiliated by people in a room. There will be people with of my age now, 50 plus, and almost your father's age or more than your father's age, who would say, "अरे यार, आप क्या सीमेंट में हमें ज्ञान दोगे? I've been doing cement for 30 years. You kids are not even 30. अभी तो आपको स्कूल से अभी अंडे से निकले हुए आपको 4 दिन हुए हैं. ठीक है ना? What do you know about cement? Okay, tell me the chemical formula of this cement. Okay, so they'll attack you, and we are all used to that. है ना? गर्ल्स को जैसे बेटा बेटा, अरे बेटी, अब तुम क्या क्या हमको सिखाओगी कैसे स्टील बनाते हैं? I've been doing steel for the last 30 years. So see, everywhere you'll get that. So in that situation, you should have the ability to say, I don't know. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Gupta, please tell me. I'm not a steel expert. I'm a strategy expert. I'm an analyst. I'll analyze your numbers and tell you where you're going wrong. Because if you were so good, why do you need consultants? Why did your leadership bring in the consultant? Why did they bring us? Even your CMD knows that I'm not a steel expert. I'm not a petrochemical expert. I'm an analyst. I analyze numbers and I'll come back to you with ideas and I'll do benchmarking and I'll tell you where your competitors doing well and where you're not. Right. So have the power to say IDK. I don't know. Have the power to say you are right, I am wrong. Because and this is especially when once you're 20 something, people become 30 something, you'll become say middle management, managers, senior managers. Again in consulting, we are literally कहते हैं ना, घुट्टी पिलाना जिसे बोलते हैं. We were like, this was drummed into us, the ability to say you are right, I am wrong. Because sometimes in a team, in some regular companies or some very privately owned companies, there's this very big what you call lala culture, or a very Seth ji Lala ji culture, where seniority culture, sir culture, oh sir, Amber sir, Akhil sir. There's a lot of sirring going on. And in government also you see that a lot. And there's a lot of sirring and madaming which is happening, which means if you're senior to me, are you're senior to me because you were born 2 years ahead of me. It's a genetic accident, right? That you were born 2 years before me. So just because that one genetic accident doesn't mean that you will be the fountainhead of all wisdom, right? So just because I was born 5 years or 10 years ahead of you, so I might be your boss. But that doesn't give me the right to think that I know everything. So in consulting, we're taught a lot, and have the ability, the guts to, in a room full of people, say, "Hey, that young boy who's just fresh out of symbiosis." It's the power of the idea which should, and the logic, power of the idea, power of logic, power of data, which should override this senior junior drama. Okay, so your young students, as you, I mean, obviously you're now starting, so you'll see this a lot when you join a company. There'll be some leaders who say, "Hey, Rohan, you're right, I'm wrong. Great idea. Let's go with Rohan." What Rohan is saying. So it's not about Rohan; it's about idea, right? So and such companies then go on expanding and growing. Where we have this senior culture, senior junior culture. Oh, I'm the senior most guy. Oh, if boss says ठीक है ना यार. Even juniors stop giving ideas. They say क्या फायदा अंबर को कुछ बोलने का यार. Whatever I say, अंबर will say नहीं नहीं ठीक है okay. Oh, I've seen the world. Oh, I'm more than your father's age. Oh, this won't work. Oh, this was tried in 2013 also didn't work यार. ये नहीं होगा. अभी ये सब मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, आप राइट टर्न लो, आप बोलो नहीं लेफ्ट टर्न लो, नहीं आई एम सेइंग नो 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 टेक अ राइट टर्न, एंड राइट टर्न विल बी बेटर, जबकि taking a left turn might actually make more sense, help you reach your target faster. So these are some of the things that we have to be very careful about. I don't know, in this monologue I just forgot your question. Akhil, what was your question? I don't know. IDK, I don't know what your question was.
Yeah, you started rightly, sir. But okay, so my question was because of lot of technological changes happening in.
Infrastructure. Sorry, my fault. So infrastructure, as I said, I mean, anybody who's passionate about infrastructure, this is the best time to be in. We are now building a new Bharat. As the PM also keeps saying, we are not building these roads as civil construction. The airports are not just glass and steel and just brick structures. This is nation building. This is something which we have not done for 30, 40 years. Yeah. Okay. And now we are on that upswing. Once this infrastructure is in place, automatically all other sectors, there's some 30, 32 plus sectors which feed out of infrastructure. And even when you build a highway, you just build a highway. Now the government thinks, whenever you have some funds ready, just build a road. Just build a road. You build a highway, automatically real estate, schools, colleges, this, that. Even when you build the road, there's cement and steel and bitumen and this and that. And you'll put up light poles and then you'll put copper wires in that. And then you put the light bulbs. There are some 30 plus industry, and then the capital goes. I mean, all the dumpers and tippers and your backhoes and road rollers, all that capital equipment, that all there's some 30 plus industries which feed off just one road. So just build a road. And labor, all that manual labor in the hot sun, when you build a highway in a hot sun, on there's no roof on top of the highway, right? All those men and women, hardworking men and women from the local communities who come and work there as labor, I mean, they get jobs, right? So just build a road. This has happened now after 30, 40 years. So, and then there's a tech part of it. As you rightly said, aviation is at the forefront because then it's not rocket science, actually rocket science. In fact, sometimes they say, we joke around with our friends on the aerospace, on the space side, that see, boss, we just had to throw a rocket and maybe one day it'll come down, right? We have to take off every minute. We have to take off and then land safely within 1 or 2 hours. Yeah. And every time you enter the Earth's surface once. We leave and enter the Earth's atmosphere twice in a space of just half an hour, 1 hour or 2 hours, right? And then you have to land. I mean, there you can land in a sea also. So I mean, of course, we're just making fun on a lighter note because it was becoming a very serious conversation. So we have this constant fight. But when you say aerospace, the aero and the space guys always have this little fight. Okay, and we tell them it's not rocket science, it's aero science. Okay, because rocket science is still easy. As then it's not rocket science, but aero science is very different because and you'll just end up. I mean, you just fall off. You'll put a parachute. You'll land up somewhere in the sea. There'll be some 200 people going to pick you up like Sunita Williams and bring her back. In our case, boss, we have a very fast running metal balloon in which there are 200, 300, or 400. And I just came from Mangalore. I saw the crash site. You remember 2010, we had a very bad crash. And I hope never in the next 1,000 years, never does such a crash happen even in India or elsewhere. And we just had that Maharashtra crash also, very unfortunate. It takes us back 10 years in time where Deputy CM got and four other people expired. So in our case, we are dealing with a very fast moving balloon. This moves at almost 800 kilometers an hour. And your cars, when we get drunk, we drive at 100 kilometers an hour. This plane actually flies at 800 kilometers an hour. And then it slows down at, even when it lands about 113 knots, which is about 200 kilometers. That plane in which we all sit lands at 200 kilometers an hour. And there's that runway threshold area and the touchdown area. And imagine 90 tons of metal, 90 tons. Okay, 90 tons are like 9 trucks, fully loaded trucks lined up one over the other. 90 tons just hitting at a point, and then you have to completely stay straight and all stick to the runway center line. And there's that touchdown area which you cannot miss. You have to land somewhere in that touchdown area and then stay on a straight line and then quickly exit through a rapid exit taxiway so that the plane coming behind can also land. And there's just 1.5 to 2 minutes, 90 seconds or max 200, 120 seconds separation between two aircraft landing. That's how our aviation sector runs it. So, and with technology, we'll try and bring that separation down to just about 60 seconds. Now, you have to imagine there are some in the peak time when you're landing, say in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Delhi, or in Pune, and there are 20 planes lined up, one after the other, right? Every minute there's a plane landing. Imagine the level of technology and the coordination which has to happen between the pilot, the ATC, the airport guys, the firefighters. Everybody has to be ready for any eventuality. And it's a massive communication that happens and massive equipment which you see in the cockpit of a pilot. Okay, that's what makes aviation so tough because you're literally landing every 2 hours. It's a little different from space where you'll probably land after a 6 month journey and land in a sea. We're not landing in sea with 200 people coming to pick us up. We land on a narrow line, not on a runway. Runway is a very wide runway. Even if they go 5 meters from the center line, it'll be a chaos, right? There are firefighters standing on both ends of the runway, ready to jump in. Okay, so that's the level of accuracy you need. So it's all high tech. Even at the airports, you'd have seen Digi Yatra. I wonder why people stand in a queue. We are doing massive campaigns at all our airports. I mean, why standing for 10, 15 minutes? Just do a Digi Yatra and walk in seconds, Baba. And not just at the airport entry, at the security. And we're also working with airlines to see if we can give some priority boarding also to Digi Yatra people. In some of the airports, they have put kiosks. So we'll also think of putting those e-gates for Digi Yatra so that it becomes a completely paperless. Paperless. Your face is your boarding card. And from curbside, when you enter the airport to security to right up to boarding, you should never open your even your phone. I don't need to see even your phone. Your face is your boarding pass. That's tech. On the baggage side, we're trying to bring in self baggage drops, and I was so happy to see in Lucknow. I thought probably Lucknow maybe will be a little more conservative. I saw middle-aged ladies just coming and coming through Digi Yatra and going straight to the SBD, as we call it, self baggage drop. Just going there, working there, just showing their phone or the QR code, and automatically the baggage strip comes out, and they'll put it and then put into the bag. No going to check in, no going to the check-in counters. It just speeds up the flow rate at the airport, because we'll now have more and more flights and more passengers coming in. And with this whole domestic, what you call democratization of flying, it is no more a glamour item. The government has always, and we have been working with the government to make it very de-glamorized and democratized. We want the poorest of the poor. And the prime minister also said, some famous line called "Hawai chappal wale ko hawai jahaz mein bithana hai," and that is actually happening. We see Hawai chappal people. In fact, some of them are actually very rich people, very young people who are very trendy, who actually come in slippers. So Hawai chappal wale to pehle bhi jate the, but abhi the real Hawai chappal people are also now flying. So that's on the baggage side. On the X-ray machines, we're trying to go for 3D machines, so that this whole drama of pulling out laptop nikalo, belt nikalo, wo nikalo, ye nikalo, all that we want to do away with. Now, all this obviously comes at a huge cost. So that's why we have to just calibrate it. We cannot just spend thousands of crores, because all those thousands of crores ultimately will have to be recovered from passengers. And then the landing charges and the UDF, as we call it, the user development fee at the airport. So it's life is all about gray things. Nothing is black or white. Black and white is, yes, we need those three-dimensional X-ray machines, but how many? We need some 20 machines at the airport. Each machine is maybe three times the cost of a regular two-dimensional X-ray machine. So X-ray machines hai, self baggage drop hai. Then there's so much IT behind. The control center at the airport is almost like a spaceship here, where you have literally every stakeholder. Obviously, the airport guys, and then within the airports, you have projects people, finance people, traffic people, air traffic people, the security agencies, the customs, the immigration people. Everybody's sitting in that control center and watching those thousands of screens that are there on the. And every second we know what is happening here, because in a ISRO, with all due respect to my space friends, it's only just one mission at a time, right? In our case, there are dozens, especially during the 6 to 9 morning peak and 6 to 9 evening peak. There are dozens and dozens of planes crisscrossing and getting lined up to land at our airports, right? And on top of that, there is also the overflying. I mean, while a plane is landing, say in Mumbai, there's also an Emirates plane going from here, Singapore going from here to there, Lufthansa. All the crisscrossing also is also happening over that airspace. So the very complex airspace management that we do, and multiple agencies have to coordinate. So technology is everywhere. Then it comes to the consumer part. I mean, all those QR codes, and like we have this one Adani app through which you can get to know everything that's happening at the airport. We keep looking at what Singapore and Dubai and Doha are doing. That app itself should tell you real-time updates. And then if you sitting at your seat, you want to order some cup of coffee, the coffee should. We are now thinking of having delivery on the seat, because as culturally we don't leave our seats, right? When you sit at the airport, we are too many people chasing too few assets. So, as an Indian, it's a cultural thing. We love to sit, and that too, we take two chairs, one for our own bum and the other for our bag. And
Bag.
somebody says, "Sir, bag hटाओ," बोले नहीं, ladies, ladies. We say, "Where is the ladies?" तो वो ladies पता नहीं कहाँ है. But we all have this usual tendency that we will take one chair where we put our backsides, and then we put our bags on the next chair. So we now have to provide double the chairs. Okay, so this is just a trait, and people don't. And once they sit at the chair, they don't want to leave that chair. And there are multiple shops we have created around them. We want them to spend money, so that the money that we make from non-aeronautical helps us cross-subsidize the aeronautical part. This you would have heard, those who are in aviation. Yeah, sorry.
सॉरी, इसी पे मतलब आपने इम्पोर्टेंट बात बोली, इसलिए मैं आपको बीच में रोका. You discuss about aeronautical, non-aeronautical.
Yeah.
Just want to, if you can highlight in certain way, because certain years back, there was a talk that airports will become in such a way infrastructure that 90% of the revenue will come from non-aeronautical, and aeronautical will become reduced to 10 to 5%. And I think थोड़ा फोकस था भी, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं था, फोकस था भी, बट आई डोंट हियर नाउ डेज, एंड आई डोंट सी रेवेन्यू भी ऐसा कुछ उस तरफ गया. सो इज इट अ चैलेंजिंग थिंग, मतलब कि मतलब बिकॉज व्हाट आई सॉ रिपोर्ट्स दैट टाइम वाज कि 21 22 23 तक ऐसा हो जाएगा, बट आई थिंक वो
That's not happened. You're bang on, and there are multiple reasons for that. So ideally, non-aero should go to as high as 60, 70, or 80%. But then for that, we have to create happy airports. I mean, just 2 days back in Hyderabad, we are having this whole round table where a lot of, I mean, it was the Wings India event where we had all the policymakers, government, and all the CEOs sitting in a round table talking. And I did make that point there also that our airports are not happy places. I would love to have an airport like Changi. Changi is a happy place. You would love to go there 2 hours in advance. Hey, चल Changi है ना 5 बजे का फ्लाइट है अरे 2 ही बजे पहुंच जाते हैं एक तो उनका प्रोसेस है so fast है. Number two, you just do your check-in, you dump all your bags. Okay, there's that jewel thing which you can go, the massive mall they've created, go have fun there. Or you could come into the airport, the moment you do your check-in and you just put your, the immigration is just a simple electronic gate. Here. You just put your passport, immigration done. Go, please go. I mean, a foreigner leaving Singapore, usko kya check karna hai? In US, don't even have an immigration on the departure side. Can you believe it? In our side, I don't want to sit on this call, go into some ranting against policymakers and immigration, because that we are anyway discussing with our friends in immigration. I've also been part of the government, so it's not fair for me to criticize these things. But somewhere we are still not able to come out of that license permit raj and that control thing. And you'll have some uncle ji sitting there asking, okay, so Akhil, where are you going? Why are you going to Bangkok or Europe? And what is the nature of your work? Arey Baba, Indian going abroad with a proper visa. Kya karna hai usse पूछ के ज़्यादा? Why are you wasting time? And especially an Indian coming back or a foreigner leaving the country, क्या check करना उसको? So in Singapore, they have perfected that. You know? And Amber Dubey or Akhil Damodaran or some Rahul Rastogi going back from Singapore to India, how does it matter? Or if you've committed a crime anywhere, they'll know. They have all the passenger data 3 days in advance. It's called API, Advanced Passenger Information. They know about the system in Singapore knows, or any country knows everything about every person leaving that country. All the passenger manifests are shared with them almost 72 hours in advance. So any check they have to do, oh, Akhil, Amber committed a little theft at some mall and he's trying to leave. Obviously, I'm all known. In fact, when I go to the airport, it's easy because now the police doesn't have to chase me in Singapore, right? I'm coming straight into the net. The moment Amber Dubey puts his passport, they know, oh, he borrowed a Rolex from some mall. Okay, 5 people will come and bloody take me into jail, right? So you do your check-in, you come to your immigration e-gates, just put your passport, so that the gate opens up. Welcome to Singapore. You enter, you just see food and beverage and retail and duty free in front of you. There's no X-ray machine. Or you wonder, yaar, security guy. Then you are told, oh no, security is at the gate. So they have innovated. Instead of putting a security gate right after immigration, they have put the security gate at the end because they say it creates stress. It makes my airport an unhappy airport. People are very stressed at airport entry, there it's an open entry. Yeah, stressed out check-in, they have so many self baggage drops and those young boys and girls from Singapore ready to help you. Jara sa aap struggle kar rahe hain, yani, sir, har cheez is on QR code, everything is on your facial recognition. Aap ya to khud baggage drop kar lo, you want to go to a check-in counter, you go there, you'll barely have 3-4 people ahead of you. Right. You do your check-in, happy place. You come to immigration, no interaction with anyone. But the system is watching. There are multiple cameras watching at every stage, right? You just put your passport, e-gates open, immigration done. Welcome. Please leave Singapore. Thank you so much for your visit. Come back again. You enter the airport area, you just see, you enter into duty-free area. Then you do your happy shopping. Yeah. So they have perfected this art of making your airport experience a very, very happy experience. And only once you've done all your purchasing, food and beverage, everything, now then they'll announce your gate number and what time you have to reach. You just reach your gate. At the gate, of course, they have that security because you would have bought stuff, this and that, and they'll just do an X-ray. So now your X-ray machines have to become 4x, right? Instead of having at the entrance some 20 machines, now if they have 50 gates, they have to put 50 machines, right? So that's extra cost, but that's a one-time cost. Of course, there's a reckoning cost also because the screeners, instead of 10 screeners, now you have to, the screening professionals, okay, the security guys. Instead of 10 guys, now you have to put 40 people. Now, that's a small cost because I'm gaining much more. So you understand, this is how they make it a happy place. The other natural advantage they have is they are a single airport country. So every passenger is an international passenger. There's nothing called a domestic flight. So the entire airport is an international airport. In our case, there's D2I, as we call it, domestic to international, international to international, international to domestic. Now, suppose you're from, say, Batinda, or you say you're from Vizag. So you arrive from Canada to Mumbai. Then Mumbai, so you'll take your luggage. Then there are multiple terminals. You take it from one terminal to the other terminal. Then you can take another wait there for 3-4 hours. Then you take the next flight to Vizag. Then you come there. It's such a painful thing. It's an unhappy experience. whereas they are international to international. You just come from one gate and go into another gate, and you do a through check-in. You don't even touch your luggage. You give your luggage at the first flight, and you get your luggage at the end of the second flight. Whereas in India, we force people to go between terminals, between domestic and international, international to domestic, and within domestic also there could be different terminals. So see, somewhere because of a lack of focus and lack of foresight and lack of, we were making mostly origin destination tracks. This is what the Arabs and the Singaporean laugh at us. No? We Indians, you're not even designed for transfer traffic or transit traffic or to become a hub. Hub means seamless movement, happy place, happy passengers. Only when passengers are happy, they will move around the airport. And I mentioned in the beginning of this conversation, in our case, people just want to look at the seat. First, find out your gate 52, reach gate 52. Even if they reach 2 hours in advance, they reach gate 52, sit on the chair, put your bags in the next chair, and just open your phone, and you're off to your YouTube and reels and media. Put on your earphones, you're lost. Now, a lost customer, unhappy passenger who's stressed out to reach that gate 52 and is just parked on a seat is wasted for us. Right? He's not going to spend even a rupee. He's got enough money. Many of them are corporate travelers. They can spend 200, 500, or 1,000 bucks on some idli, dosa, samosa, or some cup of coffee, or to buy a scarf or buy some tie for as a gift for someone. That person will not move from there. All he's doing is got the cyber neck, means 45 degree, ruining his spine on the phone, 45 degrees neck, and doing reels and shots. That's it. So see, Indians, we have, it's everybody's to blame. The passenger is to blame. First, we have to point fingers at ourselves. We are to blame. Our policies are not geared for this. We are not geared for that. So now what we're doing is, in Lucknow, I saw the two young people, and we are doing this in other airports also, is that service delivery on seat, because we know people are not going to leave the seats. So give them food on the seats. Yeah. Okay, simple concept. PVR cinemas and all the cinema halls anyway do it. So we are now trying to do that innovation, and it's very successful. The other thing we're trying to do is to have this call to gate system. The experiments are going to start in Mumbai airport maybe in a week's time, where we are not going to tell you your gate, because most airports in the world don't tell you your gate 3 hours in advance. Okay, they tell you the gate number, maybe say 35 to 40 minutes earlier, so that they want you to be in the central concourse of the airport, where you sit there, relax, eat, drink, or don't want to drink, don't drink. Okay, don't spend money, just sit there and go to the gates only, so that you release space at the gates. Otherwise, kya na, har gate pe we are putting in 50 to 100 seats. It's a waste of crucial real estate, right? Instead of that, you can put shops there, that you go to the gate and you go straight into the line, instead of just sitting and wasting time next to the gate. Anyway, it's too short a call. I don't want to get too technical, but it's just that for non-aeronautical, we have failed, but we are trying to learn from it. It's a case of policy, design, airport designs, strategy, policy, and day-to-day operations, and understanding consumer behavior, which all this, once we fix it, we'll have more spending on the non-aeronautical side, which will help us cross-subsidize and bring down the airport charges. Okay?
Yeah. Maybe my lack of knowledge, but is it possible, because at least 5 6 years back, Kochi airport used to have at least this non-aero used to be much higher compared to aero. I completely agree. The expenditure of a Kochi airport is not even one third of what GMR or Adani is. But in smaller airports, those models can be replicated. I mean that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you picked the right airport. And surprise, surprise. I mean, one of the initial tariff filings used to be done by my team. We used to work with the very visionary CEO and founder of Kochi Airport, Mr. Vijay Korean, a brilliant bureaucrat. And because it's a state government owned, though they call it PPP, but there's more public than private. Okay, there's a lot of NRKs, the non-resident Keralites, who have put in money. But effectively, it's run by, and right now it's also run by a very, 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 very intelligent IS officer, Mr. Suhas. So they've perfected that, because see, they also, because they were state government airport, they were very conscious of the clientele. See, as first principles of marketing. I mean, you're a great professor. First principle of marketing is very simply: who's my customer? What does he or she want?
Yes.
Simple. Unless you we do tons of strategy and the hundreds of slides of brilliant gyan and all that. And we sometimes, when the clients ask a basic question, boss, who's my customer? What does she want? And we have failed to answer that question. Otherwise, we'll give all the this framework and Porter framework and this matrix and that matrix. So see, Kerala has perfected that, and I've worked since I worked with Mr. Kurian. Had a privilege to work with him and help them in their tariff filing. So yes, they were minting. His vision was, I want to be the first airport in the world to have zero aero charges. Of
Yes.
course, it's difficult to do that because in non-aero, maybe there's a limit, right? I mean, bulk of it is duty free. What is happening on the duties, especially after this FTA agreement? Duties will come down even more. So
Yeah.
the difference between street price and the airport price will anyway come down. So why do you carry 2 liters of liquor and this and that? Because bulk of the differential in the duties is going to come down drastically. That is one risk. Secondly, people will buy from Gulf. Why would they buy from here? कई बार डाउट भी होता है कि ये जो इंडिया माल है ये रियल माल है क्या. So you have to buy a Glenfiddich or a Glenlivet or a nice vodka or a nice scotch. I would rather buy it in Dubai, Doha, okay, or Singapore, and then come to Cochin. Right. So there are various factors to it. Yes, I mean he did a lot, and then he had this golf course because he realized, in the takeoff area, in the what you call the funnel, the aircraft can go straight, it can go turn a light left and turn right a little. So in that runway funnel, anyway, you can't have any structures. So instead of just leaving barren land, he created a golf course. Of course, he just ensured that nobody hits a ball so high, but so we get all the air traffic clearance. So he actually created a golf course, and he said, "I'll make money from golf course. I'll make money from some airport shops, and maybe one day they'll have a hotel and lots of leases they'll give out, and the taxi walas. So I'll collect a lot of money from non-aeronautical and use that to cross-subsidize. And anyway, we create very simple structures using a lot of Kerala architecture. So this is another big thing. See, in all our airports now, the diktat from the government and also from our side also, like in Mangalore. Yesterday we were going sector by sector within the airport terminal, and we're seeing, have we brought enough of Mangalore and Karnataka into the airport? So even as a group chairman, Mr. Gautam Adani, I mean, his direction is also very simple. Take airport to the city and bring the city into the airport, the city and the state into the airport. So when people walk around, they shouldn't just see glass and steel. That's all, I mean, with all due respect, that's all the American, the Western model, all glass and steel and everything. In our case, even if you see Mangalore airport, I was very pleasantly happy that even the AC pinnacle, those AC pillars, the giant pillars which throw out cold air, at the terminal, there's a massive, there's almost like 3-4 meters high. They have painted that also with a lot of local art, local Karnataka, local Mangalorean art forms. No? They're covered literally, and there are multiple pinnacles with the giant airport. You cannot just cool people from the top. And that's also very risky because the roof is very high. So cooling, because you have those vertical towers. Each of those towers, the massive towers, have also been painted in the local art. There are a lot of Kampala, I mean, I could be mispronouncing Kambala, the Jallikattu type event that you do, the massive structures, the boatmen structures, and the Kantara thing also, and the Yakshagana, large statues. So they brought a lot of Mangalore and a lot of Karnataka into the airport. Similarly, we're doing in Lucknow, similarly in Jaipur and Guwahati. We just got a new airport terminal started in Guwahati. In fact, the first flight is also happening on 21st of February. We'll all be there. So a lot of Assam and bamboo and local art is brought into the terminal. So this is now the new trend. All this will help us. We are also trying to take copyright this thing and play some light music, especially around the baggage area. And people are very frustrated. They had a long flight and they just waiting. Oh, mera lal wala bag. Oh, mera blue wala bag. Aaya kya? Aaya kya? Akhil ka aa gaya, Nikhil ka aa gaya, mera nahi aaya. And it's a very angry, frustrated kind of a feeling. And you do that for almost 8 to 10 minutes. Our simple question was, can we have this little tea cart guy who can just roam around with a tea cart, like you have this again in a say in a cinema hall or in a railway? No? You have that chai chai, kapi kapi, chai chai. Can we have this chai chai concept at the baggage terminal, right? Where people are just standing there frustrated. And price it a little right. I mean, don't sell tea for 100, 200, or $300 here. If you just make it 50, 60, 30. Obviously, at the airport, the charge is a little high because so much of rentals have to be paid and revenue share to the government and taxes, etc. It's a heavily taxed sector. So just make it reasonably priced and take around, and people will buy. So these are some of the small, so it's always the small things, not those big ideas. Giant ideas everybody knows. It's the small things which we sometimes miss out. And if we do that, we'll earn a lot of non-aeronautical commercial revenue, and that we will help us to bring down the aero charges.
Okay.
Akhil,
Yeah. So, sir, so last question, because I think
just call me Amber. Don't call me Sir. I just made fun of the Sir culture. Yeah. Okay, Amber. Yeah.
so.
Such a nice name, no? Amber.
Yeah, yeah.
Aviation and Amber are all interrelated.
So, Amber, the last question. See, my young students were just coming out. Okay, so
इन लोग को सवाल नहीं, सब बोर नहीं हो गए या सैटरडे मॉर्निंग क्या है सब
नहीं
सब
नहीं
ज्ञान
सर,
सेशन और
सर,
छोड़ो ना यार.
so, uh, it's not their mistake, but the environment is such that for them, placement is life. Okay.
My
And
favorite subject.
just now you told about shared your story of your daughter as well. I mean the pressure, everything is there. And we also want to tell them, no, no, this is not the way things are. But so as you said your story, so for two things I want to just, if you can brief out. First, uh, what headset they should keep. Obviously, you said about 4H, which is marvelous. I completely agree. Second thing, which we don't teach in class, that's why I want to be very specific with that. What is the real character or feature of leadership? Because that is not taught in class. I mean, Michael Porter forces ये सब ठीक है, पर जो आपने अभी अदानी की जो एयरपोर्ट की बात की कि मतलब you're standing on the terminal or the runway and you're working with them and all of these are the things they never go through in the 2 year classroom. They only go through strategy, the word, big ideas, talking about politics and two countries, transactional. This is the real world is something different. This is very, very different from that. Okay. So, with your experience of your 30, 34 years, what exactly is hardcore leadership? Matlab, what is that is expected so that they can have the headset for the next 2 to 3 years? Sorry, 2 to 3 decades.
Right. So, two questions there. One is on the placement thing and the leadership thing. See, leadership is the simple and the same boring. I'm a big fan of boring consistency. I'll give the same boring explanation of the 4H principle. And again, this is not my principle. Some smart guy sent it to me. It just hit me hard, and I realized, yes, all the leaders, if you see, it ultimately comes down to those 4H things only. Just the 4H. I know I'm being repetitive. Uh, as I say, your followers don't listen to you. I'm sure half the people here must be already half asleep. Okay, क्या बोल रहा है यार अंकल, क्या बोल रहा है, बस करना है यार, अभी सैटरडे मेरे को पार्टी पे जाना है, अभी लंच के लिए वेट कर रहे हैं लोग. सो सी uh, even your teams don't listen to you, they observe you. So if it's observation, again you go back to that 4H. If you just do simple hard work, stay honest, and be humble, and there'll be a lot of stress moments. Okay, sometimes you have to promote somebody, you promote somebody, you have to demote somebody or not give promotion. I mean, not everybody will become a manager, not everybody will become a partner or a senior vice president, right? So there are tough decisions. Sometimes you have to counsel out people, and I'm telling you, if you do that with humbleness and honesty, many of them, some of them, not all of them, many of them actually became friends when they left. And you know something, Akhil, some of them actually used us as a client. Can you believe it? They brought projects to us because we handled their exit in a slightly humane way. Okay, in a humble way. We told them that, see, Mr. XYZ, you're so good, you have this talent, and which brought you up to here. But as they say, like in mountaineering, what got you here will not take you there. Every 1,000 meters, your gear, your the environment, the oxygen content, okay, everything changes every 1,000 meters as you grow towards Mount Everest. Mount Everest is at 8,800, whatever, 9,000 meters, 9K meters. So what you could come at the very bottom in a running shoe, but the running shoe will not take you to even 2,000 meters, right? Every 1,000 meters, you have to, same thing in life. What I did at fresh out of engineering college, what I did after B school, what I did 10 years back, and what I do today are completely different. So the only common thing which runs across the four is actually the 4H principle. Stay honest, do a lot of hard work. Whatever you take up for today, put in your best hard work and be hard on yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself, which is again linked back to the whole stress. अभी क्या February चल रहा है ना, तो I'm sure your placement season has started, already started, about to start.
It's ending, sir. It's ending
It's
time.
ending now, right? So humbleness and finally happiness. You got to be happy. Suppose I didn't even get placed. I know it's very stressful. I mean, we've all gone through that. Yeah, both at IIT, I was competing with some of the best brains. At IIM also, I was competing. I'm sure even in Symbiosis, everybody's competing with some of the sharpest people in the country. And interviewers. Now, it all depends on you might be a great guy, Akhil, but I might be an interviewer. Somehow, I didn't like your shirt, your jacket, the way you said this, or you said the way you said that. I asked you a question. Maybe you got flustered. Maybe you have so much knowledge, but I asked you that one question, which was your weakness. And somehow you started blabbering, you started stammering, you started giving a not so smart answer. And I say, yeah, okay, move, chalo, Akhil gone, Nikhil ko lete, Akhil ko chhod dete. So see, this kind of thing happens, and this is all ordained. It's all part of God's plan for you. So you have to have faith in whichever God you believe in. Have some faith. My daughter, who was not a very big faith person, now she's also understood the power of religion and God. And you'll be shocked. I mean, she sent me, of course, not from US, but she sent me a little Ganesh. She said, when you move to Adani, just keep this on your desk. I was like, moved to tears. Like, there's a girl who who's very modern, Western, and all American, this, that, whatever. And she sent me a red Ganesha ka, a little chota sa figurine. And he said, just keep it next to you. Gives me a lot of power. And every time she comes home now, she takes one or two things from our temple. My wife is very, I'm not that ritualism. My wife is very, she's also a tough professional in a very tough job, but she's very religious. And so every time my daughter comes, she now takes one or two small figurines from our temple and puts it in wherever she's in Boston. And she says it gives me a lot of power. But all this has happened in the last 2, 3 years. So a little faith in God helps, because this word didn't just come out on its own, right? There is a God up there. Obviously, none of us have seen. A lot of us claim to interpret God in all our religious books and all our religious leaders, but nobody's actually seen God. Huh? But there is a God somewhere, right? I mean, all these things which you're seeing around us can't be happening on its own. And this whole logical flow, that Kal Chakram, what goes up will come down. All the Hitlers and Aurangzebs and all kinds of big people have come, and big brands, the Nokias and BlackBerry. I don't want to take names here, but there are so many brands which have come, which ruled the world, and then they are nowhere today, right? So there's a great learning and all that. All this must be happening because there's a divine logic somewhere, right? And the divinity is what we call God. Nobody has seen, nobody can describe God. But whatever happens is so logical. Even the design of your body is so, yeah, one of the best machines is your human body. Yeah. The more I read about body, because as you grow old, you start researching a lot about your body. Your doctor also starts warning you about lots of things which are not going wrong with the body. And you realize what a body we have. This body is one of the best machines ever designed. And this was designed millions of years back without AI and without computers, right? How come all our biometrics are so different? How do we do Digiyatra? Because everybody's biometrics are different. It's all designed by God, right? So anyway, cutting a long story short, it's just those 4H principles. Leadership is just that. And if you see all the great leaders who are respected in full of history, and please read history. The other thing I would say is, history and economics are two subjects and which we never teach after class 8th or ninth. I'm telling you that there's a lot of truth in the line with that. Those who don't read history are condemned to suffer from it or condemned to suffer it. Okay, so please read history. History is a great teacher. It gives you case studies, and you realize that if you follow that, the same success or failure can happen in your life also. If you learn from the best and try and do it, it leads to a lot of success. So whatever, lots of things which I said is actually based on history. And the other thing is economics. Many times you go into engineering, they had an economics course which you all would nearly flunk. Somehow we would get pass marks and go through. And today I'm doing only economics. Bulk of my work at the airport is all about economics, right? So economics, maths, finance, everything, commerce, trade flows, global trade, everything is geopolitics, everything is very closely interlinked. So we should learn history because politics is driven a lot by history. Regarding the leadership, I've already answered. The 4H principle is a good principle, not my principle. Learn from someone and try to apply it. And the third thing is the whole stress thing. So yes, yeah, fear of stress. I mean, I run 8 airports. And imagine the stress. It's not easy because every minute there is something happening. तो मॉर्निंग से आई टोल्ड यू ना, मॉर्निंग से शुरू हो जाता है। इधर से वो माले से आ रहा था, इधर से दुबई से आया, इधर गोल्ड पकड़ा, उधर वो ऐसा ऐसा बॉडी पार्ट्स में ऐसी सी चीज छुपा के लोग लाते हैं, एंड देन इट्स ऑल टेकन आउट बाय कस्टम्स, इमिग्रेशन इश्यूज, ये ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग एंड रनवे इनकर्शन, दिस दैट, एयरक्राफ्ट मेंटेनेंस इश्यूज, सम malfunction, this that, radar issue. So whole day we are inundated with, because we deal with lakhs of people per day. So it's very easy to get stressed out. But if I get stressed out, how will I even sit and talk with you in a relaxed way? So see, if just surrender to God, I'm telling you. And I'm not a religious preacher. Whichever God you follow or don't follow any God, please just surrender yourself to the divinity which created us. Okay, there's a deep logic in everything that God has created. Surrender to Him, and you'll not feel any stress. I'm telling you. ये क्या प्लेसमेंट एस्मेंट, आई मीन विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट दोज हु गॉट डे जीरो और डे माइनस, और अब तो क्या डे -2, पता नहीं गॉड नोज हाउ मेनी माइनसेस विल गो। वो जो डे माइनस में भी मिला है, are they all happy? Some of them have done fantastically well and God bless them. and some of them have not done so well. Those who got those -1, -day, -2, day -1 postings, and with deep respect, I'm saying that with deep humility and respect. And there are also people I know in my batch. There were people whom people used to laugh at IIM Ahmedabad. They're some of the richest guys in our batch. I don't want to take names. They're some of the richest guys in our batch who've done fabulously well. People used to make fun of them, make fun of their English, make fun of every time they would open their mouth in the class, because Ahmedabad, I am Ahmedabad, is a very case study driven thing where literally 80 people are baying for each other's blood. Because there's somebody, a teacher assistant sitting at the back who's marking, he's got a full seat plan and he's marking how many words, how many interventions did Akhil do, how much did Amber do, and then based on the quality, not just quantity, but also quality of the intervention you did in a case analysis. And just a 70-minute or a 90-minute class, right? So people literally going at each other like hungry hounds here to catch the attention of the RA at the back and professor in the front. And there are these people who would barely speak, who not getting the best grades, but they had talent, right? I mean, why? How could you make it in such a school without talent? And I'm telling you, they're some of the richest guys in our batch. So please, please, and this is exactly the example I used to give to my kid, because she's also going through what you guys are going through. There were days when she was crying with her mom, with all due respect again. I'm not trying to mock her, but and I used to tell her it's okay, and she would not talk to me because mom would actually give her a little more sympathy and say nahi ho jayega. And she was saying, no, no, yahan, you don't understand. It's very tough for Indians here. I'm a brown girl, and this and that, and yeah, wo. It's, I mean, all kinds of things I would hear. Yeah. Okay. And one fine day, she gets one of the best banks. She gets two offers, and somebody tells her you're in the top 30, 40 students who got these kind of, and then she is getting 4 out of 4. So, see, in the end, it all works out. But in that process, the amount of stress she was going through, crying with my wife, crying with her friends, well, some have gone through that. So, I mean, I'm saying this with utmost. I mean, this is ideally we should not be discussing such personal stuff, but how else do I convince our young kids who are on the young men and women on this call to take it easy? All of us go through that. I've also gone through that. We were all students once. We were not this gyani. Today, I might be sitting here at age 57 giving all this Sant Gyan, okay, Brahma Gyan and all that. But we were all 21 someday, right? And we've all gone through this stress. It's okay. It makes you. And boss, dekho, end of the day, this stress is not like going to Siachen, right? Or doing a commando course. There are also 21-year-olds who are standing in Siachen or going through a commando course with those hell week and hell marches and all kinds of stuff, sleep deprivation, physical toughness, where even the toughest commandos are sent. Some of the best infantrymen, the soldiers are sent by their units to for the commando course, and I'm told the pass rate is only 8 to 12%. So out of the 100 of the best soldiers which come from the best regiments of the Indian Army, ultimately go to Belgaum, and the pass rate is only about 8 to 10. Same thing in Navy, the Marcos, Marine Commandos, MCF as you call it, Marine Commando Force, the Marcos. They're also, I mean, it's so brutal because that whole exercise is designed to break you down. And only those 6 or 8 or 10% people who make it get the commando badge, that Balidan badge. Okay, so please understand, this is just a rites of passage. It's part of God's plan. Whether you get a -1 day placement, fantastic, congratulations. You don't get placed even after day 2, day 3. It's okay. There's always a way to get a good job and shine and become an entrepreneur and shine. And some of those guys who are not very, as I said, not the conventional topper types, and they're now richest because they went out, they became started a startup that failed. They made another startup that failed. Then the third startup that they did has, I mean, some massive, some 100x kya, whatever valuation pay, usko, then the Tatas bought it, and then that money they are putting into some other startup. Now, some of the other batchmates who are far higher ranked and got better placements are leaving their jobs and joining this gentleman. Okay, so this is called Kal Chakram. There is a Kal Chakra, right? You lost it out on placements. Maybe 20 years later, some of the guys in the -1 or day zero placement may actually end up joining, leave their jobs, shift countries. Some have shifted countries to come back to Bangalore and join this gentleman from our batch. So, as I said, I can go on and on. Let's stop here because it's been a long conversation. It's not easy to just listen to long gyan from some unknown person. So, let me just stop here. Take it easy. God is with you. Have fun.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this is exactly what the show was all about. So we wanted to really know exactly your journey and the lessons from that, and make sure that the student understand exactly how the pathway looks like, and especially in the domain area where people have. I mean, for general management, we still get more exposure, but domain specific and understanding, it's still not so much in supply. So for students. I mean, it was a great conversation, sir, seriously. And I was not the moderator. You were the moderator and the anchor both. I, I mean, you, in spite of the fact that you had cold and everything, and I was just listening to you, that you and handled it so much well that मेरा एफर्ट कुछ नहीं था सीरियसली तो आपने ही सब कुछ किया.
I'll
Thank
charge you $1,000 extra for that. Huh? And I would love to also meet people so if I get to come down to Pune sometime because I
you.
can't even see anyone. And this modern method of Zoom calls, I mean, it's fantastic because it connects people all across the world seamlessly. But
Yes,
nothing like that human thing. That's why we go down to our airports and hit
sir.
the road and
We'll
put
be.
dirt on a soil on our shoes. Unless you get soil on your boots, they say you don't learn anything. So I would love to come down to Pune sometime and have face-to-face chat or a little vada pav with everyone. So
We're really glad, sir. Really glad. Anytime, I think
okay,
the camera, we can have a discussion, and whenever you have time, you can come to our campus, sir. We'll.
sure.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Shalo, thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you.
All the best to all our students. Bye
Thank.
bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye, sir.